The Create Site step gives you the ability to create a SharePoint site under a site collection in your organization within the context of a K2 workflow. This demonstration will show you how to use the Create Site wizard to accomplish this task. Organizations that have implemented SharePoint within their environment no doubt come to the point where they need to handle requests to create SharePoint sites on a repetitive basis. The Create Site workflow step can help you automate any process that requires creating a SharePoint site. This workflow step is very helpful when you want to align site provisioning processes with administrative, security, and governance models that you've designed for your SharePoint architecture. For this demonstration, I'm going to model a workflow off of a project site request process. I have a SharePoint list called Project Site Requests that will handle these requests. I've also already set up the basics for this workflow to speed up the demonstration, so all we'll look at is the Create Site workflow step. When I drag and drop this wizard on the design canvas, the first window that appears will be called Specify Properties. This window allows you to configure the new site and pick the site collection where you would like it to live. In this example, I only have one site collection available, so I'll leave it set to the main portal collection. If you have a sub-site created in the site collection, you can enter in the relative URL for it here, either by hard-coding the name or using any of the fields available that may contain this value from the context browser. Because I'm doing this for project sites, I have a project's sub-site set up under the portal site collection, and its relative URL is just the word projects. So by filling in this value, this step will create new sites under this existing subsite. So next, I'll drop in the title for this site from the item reference to my SharePoint list in the context browser. I'll also pull in the relative URL value from the item reference. Next, I'll drop in the description field. The site template selected here must be available on the site collection where you want to create this site, or the workflow will halt with an error if it can't find the template. You can select from the available list here on the form, or click on the button at the left side of the drop-down control and enter a value in as text, or drag a field from the context browser. Since I made this a choice column in the SharePoint list, I'll use the field Site Template from the item reference. You can also create a site reference that makes property values for this new site available later on in the workflow. I'll enable this and give it a name called New Project Site Reference, since I want to use the site URL property this provides in a future email step that notifies the originator that the site is ready. One last option is at the bottom of the window. If a requested site already exists under your selected configuration and entered values, then the workflow will halt with an error since it can't overwrite an existing site. Put a check in this box to use the existing site if a match is found, if you foresee this occurring in your process. For this demo, I'm going to leave a check in the box. On a technical note, be sure that the K2 service account has permission to create subsites in the desired site collection for this wizard. I'll finish that up and quickly show you the notification email message that utilizes the site reference created by the Create Site wizard. The site reference appears in the item reference in the context browser. You can grab values from this throughout the workflow where you need them. In this case, I'm going to add a link to the new site in the body of the email message with the hyperlink inline function. And from here, I'll finish up and deploy the workflow, and we can look at an example of it in action. This workflow is set up to run when an item is added to my project site request list. I'll fill in the fields with information about a site I want to have created. Notice the Site Template field is populated with template types I make available to my users, but for this demo, I'll leave it set as a project site. From here, I'll save the record, and the workflow will kick off and create the site under the projects area I set up for this demo. Now I'll switch over to my Outlook client, and I can watch the notification that comes in once the site is created. Check out the link that was created using the site reference URL property. Let's click the link and check out the new site. Here you can see that the Create Site wizard set up a project site called Hardware Refresh in answer to my request. Take note that the site title, description, project template type, and relative URL match the values from the request form. We would like to thank you for watching this demo on how to use the Create Site wizard. We hope you have a better understanding of how and when you can use this workflow step within processes used by your organization.